Hey, 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 what's going on, fam? What's up, what's up? What's going on? ADOS California, ADOS Nation. What's up, what's up? It's your boy Chris. What's up? Happy Saturday. What's going on, fam? This is a special edition of ADOSCA Media pop-up show. This is a pop-up show. We want to get your live initial reactions to the declaration of peace, fam, peace, to the declaration of Joe Biden as the winner in the 2020 presidential race. It's a pop-up show. We didn't plan this. Let me welcome my brother Yamoya into the stream. Um, welcome, brother. What's going on? Let me get you in here with the live results. What's up, brother? Welcome, welcome. What's up from the DMV region, ADOS, sister? What's up, sister? What's going on? Fatty
Hey,
X, what's going
man,
on,
I don't
fam?
know. I don't know. Can you hear me, bro?
I can hear you, fam. We are live and we are live right now. Yes, I can
Yeah,
hear
my
you
mic is
perfectly.
kind of going in and out, so I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you perfectly, brother. Welcome, welcome to the family
All right,
joining
I'm
us.
assuming you can hear me, but I can't hear myself. So,
I can hear
all
you
right, bro.
clearly,
I'll
brother.
let you continue. Let me come back in.
Okay, bet. That's the good brother, you Moya Glass, representing the ADOSCA Media fam. What's going on, fam? This is a pop-up show. Like we said, we didn't plan this, but as you all know, Joe Biden was declared the winner of the 2020 presidential race today. It's been a long several days since we had the official end of voting, quote unquote. But as you know, I think everybody knows there's been like a bunch of voting going on, post November 3rd, last Tuesday, a bunch of vote counting going on. So it's been several days of not knowing who the official winner was. But today we are breaking the news with a lot of other networks that Joe Biden was officially declared the winner. And we want to know what you think. What's on your mind? What are your thoughts? What's your initial reaction to Joe Biden being declared the winner? Peace fan, what's going on? Lions Den ADOS. Peace fan, welcome, welcome. Shout out to Be the Power, also in the house. What's going on? I'm gonna bring my good brother Yamoya back to the stream. Hopefully we got his mic right. What's up, fam? Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, Kelly Pryor, representing that ADOS Las Vegas. What's going on? Excuse me. Welcome to the pop-up show.
Yeah,
We didn't plan this. We just want to get some initial reaction. What's up? What's up, fam? Yeah, you more your sound is going in and out, fam. But no worries, no worries. We will get that situated and fixed.
what's up, bro? I can
Okay,
hear you now, so
bet,
I think
bet.
we good.
Yeah, man. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris are the 46th president and vice president of the United States. What's your thoughts? What's your initial reaction? What's your, how do you feel about it? What's your what's your reaction? What's your thoughts? How you know, we see people celebrating in the streets. We got some people, quiet. What's going on in the minds of the ADOS community? That's what we want to know. We got a couple comments already coming in. Put your comments in the chat, fam. We want to highlight them and raise your voice right now, especially since it's so fresh. This is, you know, just hours after the initial call was made that Joe Biden would be the 46th president of the United States. Sister Fatty X is saying, I will only give folks one day of celebration before we put both Biden and Harris' feet to the fire. I like that. Already talking that of accountability. What's up to the story, princess? Gotta stay low at work. No problem. No problem. I know how that goes. goes. Um, Joe Biden isn't going to do anything to help ADOS. What's up, Lions? Then thank you for your thoughts and your contributions, fam, as well. Yeah, there's a lot of different ideas about what this means. I actually have a few questions that I want to put to the family. You, but you, Moya, if you want to jump in and add any particular thoughts, fam, please feel free. Uh, this is just, this is hot off the press. I think we're all dealing with a little bit of, trying to digest this and see, how it feels. And I think some of us already kind of knew, that Joe Biden was on his way, you know, but this is definitely, a moment where we get the official call, right? So Fatih, Sister Fatih X is saying, I don't have a lot of faith in either one of them. I hope I'm wrong. Um, I'm not mad at that sentiment. I'm not mad at that thought. I'm not mad at that feeling. We know our history and our experience with politicians, both Democrats and Republicans. So you are very much in the right to feel like that, and that's what we want to get from you today, fam. As folks start to trickle in, it's your reaction, your thoughts. What are you feeling right now, knowing that Joe Biden is officially going to be taking over the White House in January of 2021? Um, Miss Callie, what's up, fam? How are you? I'm already tired of the sister girl post from AD West. Hey, uh, it's gonna be a lot of those kind of posts going on. As you can see the screen, we have the screen share on right now. People are partying and celebrating and dancing. They behinds off right now in the streets. So this is what's going on right now. So it's not just online, it's not just the posts, it's actual people out in the streets from city to city, from New York to Philly to Pittsburgh to even here on the West Coast. There's gonna be some demonstrations and some celebrations going on. So yeah, it's not just gonna be online; it's gonna be offline as well. But your voice matters too, right? So again, we want to make sure that we get your thoughts, your voices, the voices of the ADOS community, not just here on the West Coast, but also nationwide. Also, before I forget, please, as you come in, like this channel, subscribe to this channel,
Hey,
ADOSCA Media. You know, I think we're the only broadcast on right now, pretty much, that's doing ADOS media work right now in the wake of the call and the announcement that Joe Biden will be the 46th president of these United States. So, like this channel, subscribe to this channel, hit that little bell, so that you get all of the notifications. Make sure you share this too. Tag people when you share this. We are both on YouTube right now and on Facebook as well. So if you're watching on Facebook, what's up? Shout out to you as well. Appreciate you. Keep your comments coming in as well. Joe Biden is the 46th president of the United States. Let's get some more comments from the family. We really need to start. We need to start really paying attention to these politicians up for re-election for midterm 2022. Shout out to you, Kelly Pryor. Shout out to the whole ADOS Las Vegas family. You're absolutely right, fam. From my perspective, you're absolutely right. It's not too early to be thinking about 2022 and the midterms. One of the questions that I'm going to have for the audience and family coming up soon is, what about the House? What about the Senate? Right? We don't know who's going to control the Senate yet. We don't know, if the House is going to stay in Democratic hands in 2022 because they lost some seats, in the last week. The GOP, the Republicans picked up seats in the House. We won't know about the Senate probably until January, most likely. So you're absolutely right, Kelly, to be focusing on the Senate. What are your thoughts, fam? What do you think about what you're seeing right now? Black people out there, dancing and celebrating. Not just black people, but there's definitely a bunch of black people out there too. You know, proud Mississippian, what's up, fam? Shout out to the ADOS Mississippi family. Welcome, welcome. I can already feel the sense of sleepiness from our people. Excuse me. Very good point, fam. Are black people going to go back to sleep? Are people going to be lulled back to sleep? Are we going to get lazy? Are we going to get less active? Are we going to get, I mean, I see people dancing, like it's 1999 out there, are we, I mean, is this what we fought for, and what we, have been fighting for? Is this all we get, is the opportunity to dance, is Trump being gone? Does that mean that everything is back to normal? Everything is good? Right? I completely get that comment that a sense of sleepiness is something that we have to keep our guard up against. More comments from the family, and again, family, this is a pop-up show. We really just want to do this to get some initial thoughts and feedback from you, and also give you a chance to express yourself. We are going to be having a lot of conversations over the next weeks and months as we go into 2021 about what our political future is, right? But right now, a lot of us are just hearing the news, in the last few hours, as we sort of woke up this morning. So we definitely want to get feedback from you. I wonder what cabinet position Stacey Abrams will get for registering over 800,000 voters in Georgia. Stacey Abrams, the state of Georgia. If I don't know if the state of Georgia is called yet, it may have been called, but it looks like the state of Georgia will be voting blue for the first time in probably 28 years. Excuse me, 28 years. Wow. What do you get for that? For helping make that happen. That's a historic move. If you are from Georgia, or if you know anybody in Georgia, what's going on in Georgia? Why did Georgia go blue? Was it because of Atlanta? Was it because of some other parts of Georgia? What about this election made Georgia go blue? One thing to say about this election: this is the most turnout in over 100 years. So I want to repeat that. This is the most turnout in over 100 years for a presidential election, from what I'm hearing, since 1807 or something like that. This is the most turnout that we've ever seen. We've got over 75 million people who voted for Joe Biden. We've got over 70 million people who voted for Donald Trump. That's the most Democratic or Republican candidate has ever gotten in total votes. Both of them made records in bringing people out to vote. What does that say about Donald Trump? What does that say about Joe Biden? That they both brought out more people than ever to vote for each one of them. What does it say about the people who was organizing on the ground as well? Stacey Abrams, in particular, in the state of Georgia, registering over 800,000 voters. That's a very, very good point. Miss Callie says too many of us will be lulled back to sleep. Echoing some of the points that the brother Proud Mississippian said earlier. Are we going to go back to sleep? Is it sleepy time? Is it not time to be active anymore? Is it everything is back to normal? Or do we, as ADOS people and as an ADOS movement, do we become even more active, right? Is the pressure more on Biden and on Harris over the next, weeks, months, years to produce a black agenda, to do something about reparations, to do something about the material condition of black folks in this country in a serious and transformative way and in a deep way, right? Great questions, great points. What's up to the story princess? In 2 weeks they will be back to sleep. You know what? I would not be surprised if there is an effort to weaken or to dilute the fight for a black agenda or the fight for political accountability over the next several weeks, just because of the Biden the Biden win. One thing to say about the Biden win, even though he did get more votes, it seems like, than any Democratic presidential candidate in history. Same for Trump on the Republican side. Even though it looks like they both set historic records, the election wasn't as close or as close on election night as we thought it was going to be. Right, on election night, it looked like Trump might be the 46th president of the United States. It wasn't a blue wave or a blue blowout, right? With his historic pandemic and historic recession, right? Should the Democrats have won easier? Should it have been this hard? Should it be taking this long to count the votes? Right? Why is it taking so long to count all of these votes? Great question. Let's get back to some of the comments once again, fam. This show is for you. This is a pop-up show specifically for you to discuss what is going on right now in your mind with respect to hearing and reacting to Joe Biden, who's going to be our next president of the United States. Are we going back to sleep? Are we going to get more active? What do we get? Right? What do black folks get? Right? This is actually one of the questions that we have to ask the family today. So I'm actually going to go to the let's start with the first question. Really, Joe Biden wins. Should black ADOS people be out there celebrating? Should we be out there celebrating right now? There's on almost every news station you go on right now, there is a picture, and you can see it on the screen share that we have, and also behind me too. There's a camera somewhere where there's a big party in the streets going on. DC, New York, Philly, all along the East Coast. At Atlanta, here on the West Coast, we got the same thing happening. Should we be out there celebrating? What are we out there celebrating for? What did we just get? Did we get something? Did we win something? What are we celebrating for? Right? Should we be out there celebrating? Is it enough? And let's ask the question: is it enough for a open racist like Donald Trump to be removed from office? Is that even enough to be celebrating for? Is it a good thing just by itself that somebody like Trump is not in the White House? Is that enough to celebrate for? Or do we need to be holding our celebration for different times and different opportunities and different things that we think we should be getting from Biden-Harris White House? There's a lot of celebration going on. I want to go back to some of the comments, here, because y'all are giving great comments. Thank you so much to everybody that's making a comment. Please make a comment. We will highlight your comment for sure. We want to lift up your voice and lift up the voice of ADOS people here during this, very important moment in our country's history. Let's put up some more comments. Black Magic, what's up? It's disgusting that this segregationist who made a career locking up ADOS has also hid behind black people to carry him into the White House. Great point. Joe Biden has a very troubled history when it comes to the issue of race. Was that erased over the course of the campaign? Was enough made of that over the course of the campaign? Did he take enough, hits for that over the course of the campaign? Did we pay enough attention to that over the course of the campaign? Right? Right now he is walking into the White House with a black woman as the vice president. What kind of agenda, what kind of resources, what does he owe to the black people who put him in the White House? And let's go to the data. Let's talk about the data about how he actually got to the White House, right? Joe Biden wins. How did he do it? He did it with the states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania largely. Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania largely. If you want to add Georgia in there too, absolutely. And Georgia is either it's still too close to call or has been called for Biden flipping the state of Georgia blue from red for the first time in 28 years. But Joe Biden went through the states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Specifically, though, he went through the black counties, the blackest counties in each of those states. Those were the states that over the last 4 or 5 days we've been counting votes in. Those are the states that, if you looked on election night, Joe Biden looked like he was losing those states. And over the past 24, 48, maybe 36 hours, Joe Biden started to take the lead, catch up, take the lead, and then now is expanding his lead in each of those states. So much so, specifically in the state of Pennsylvania, that we are now calling the state of Pennsylvania for Joe Biden, which gives him over 270 votes to win the election as president and vice president with Kamala Harris of these United States. So, a lot of Joe Biden's political future is due to black people, specifically in those 3 states. But what about the fact that Joe Biden wouldn't even be the nominee if it wasn't for black people, particularly in the state of South Carolina to start on February 29th, early in this year, and then also black people on the Super Tuesday states, March 3rd, in the predominantly southern states that voted on that Super Tuesday, that really took Biden's campaign from dying, which it was dying. His campaign was dying. People were asking him, is he going to drop out? How is he going to drop out from a campaign that was dying to the nominee and then ultimately to the president of the United States? Let's get back to some of your comments. This is about you. What are your thoughts? What are your initial reactions to Joe Biden becoming the 46th president of the United States? Most exciting news. Things may accelerate even faster with Biden or Harris. That's yet to be seen, right? Maybe, right? What can we expect? What should we expect to happen with respect to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris over the next several weeks and months? One thing we have to mention also, Donald Trump has not conceded that he lost the election. Donald Trump has not conceded that he lost the election. So that's another thing to think about, as we consider what the next few weeks and months are going to look like. Back to your comments, though. It's going to get better for white people and immigrants and LGBTQ. ADOS gets to stand alone with all of those groups benefiting off of our ongoing struggle. Is that going to be the status quo going forward? That's what we know as the status quo right now, for sure. Is that going to be the status quo going forward? Is that a done deal? Can we do things to change that? Or is it automatic that Joe Biden is not going to be looking out for black people specifically? Kamala Harris, she's famous in many ways for that part of her interview where she says she's not doing nothing specifically for black people. No, right? So is that what we can expect? Joe Biden has a 100-day plan, has a what he wants to do in the first day in office. Also, nothing about that says anything specifically to black people. So is it a done deal that we're not going to get nothing specific, or can we do something to change that? Right? Definitely a good question to ask. Let's get back to your comments and to your questions. It's time for Democrats to have their meeting with us now that the election is over. Reparations now. I'm glad you brought that up, Miss Callie. I'm going to go to my banner question here. Joe Biden wins. Will black ADOS people get reparations? Will we get reparations? Is reparations easier to get under a Joe Biden, Kamala Harris presidency? That's a very good question to be asking right now. Joe Biden, on the record, has not been at least in his public speaking, has not been supportive of reparations, at least in the way that we talk about reparations in the form of a multi-generational, multi-trillion dollar plan to close the lineage wealth gap at minimum, right? That compensates for slavery, Jim Crow, and ongoing economic exclusion, specifically to Black American descendants of slavery, ADOS, right? American descendants of slavery. Joe Biden, when asked in at least one of the debates, said, his idea of reparations was Jim Clyburn's 10, 20, 30 plan. But he's also on record, supporting the congressional bill to study and develop reparations proposals for African Americans Act, also known as HR 40. Kamala Harris, when she was asked the question about reparations, this is when she gave that famous "I'm not doing none specifically for Black people." No, answer. But she did say that she recognized the history of slavery and the history of Jim Crow. She is also a co-sponsor on S-1083, which is the Senate version of HR 40. So will Black people have an easier path to reparations under a Joe Biden or Kamala Harris presidency? What do you think? What's on your mind right now about, one, the win for Joe Biden overall, and then two, what does this mean for reparations? What does this mean for a Black agenda, right? Will Black people get a Black agenda, right? Will Black people get a specific targeted Black agenda now that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are president? What do you think? Put your answers in the comments. Put your answers in the chat. We will be highlighting every single comment. Once again, this is a pop-up ADOSCA media show just to get your initial reaction, just to get your live reaction. Joe Biden wins the presidency. What do you think? Will Black people get reparations? Will we get a Black agenda? Should Black people be out there celebrating? How did Joe Biden win the presidency? Right? All these questions and more we're going to be exploring for as long as we want to. Right? This is one of the things that is great about the ADOS movement and ADOS people is we are in the beginning of creating a bunch of new ADOS media outlets, and so we are out here, bringing ADOS focused and censored media to you, for you, and by you. Let's get back to some of these comments though, because a lot of these comments are coming in, and I don't want to be talking. I want to read what you are saying, here in the comments. Let me get back to some of them. Yeah, has anyone checked in on Kanye? Great question. I don't think so, and I think Kanye, is doing his own thing right now. Let's get to some of these comments. I'm not mad at the election, but I'm definitely not joining in the "Oh Happy Day" chorus I've been seeing as ADOS. Honestly, I'm not moved. Thank you for that comment, fam. Appreciate it. Right. Should we be out there celebrating? Excuse me. Right behind me, and also on the screen share, there is a picture of the White House. Right in front of the White House right now, people are dancing and celebrating at the Black Lives Matter Plaza in D.C. People are dancing and celebrating all over the country. There's a party going on. Should Black people be out there celebrating? And if so, for what? What did we get? What did we achieve from helping to elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? Is it enough that an open racist like Donald Trump is no longer in the White House? Is that something to celebrate by itself? Before we get to the job of policy and advocacy, is it enough that we have somebody who is an open racist, who someone with open contempt for Black people policy wise, is not in office anymore? Is that enough to celebrate, or should we not be out there celebrating right now? Should we, be organized and then fighting, for a specific Black agenda? Let's get back to some of your comments. Thank you for all these comments, by the way. Amazing comments coming in, fam. This is a show for you. One thing that is going to be helpful for us is, I think, if we help to deal with our our political emotions, in a healthy way, and help target and focus them, right? So use this as an opportunity to get some of these things off your chest. Excuse me, now, right? Get some of these things off your chest now. This is a time for you to vent. If you want to vent, let it be known. I wish I had the call-in show team here. Shout out to Kim. Shout out to you, Moya. We will be coming back on Tuesday for the 9 p.m. call-in show. So you will be able to call in 9 p.m. Tuesday and give your feedback from an official election recap show. We'll also probably do a show earlier on Tuesday as well with Rita Fort from the 80 West Bay Area team, and maybe some other folks. We'll probably set up a panel, and we'll go a little bit deeper, into what happened this election season. But right now, this is a pop-up. We really just want to hear from you. What's on your mind? How do you feel, man? How do you feel about Joe Biden being elected the president of the United States? I think ADOS job just got harder. Black people are going to be dumbed down with the Obama, with the Obama effect. Very, very common point. This was one of the comments. This was several of the comments earlier in the show. Are Black people going to be lulled back to sleep? Are we going back to sleep now for the next 3 years? Are we not going to fight for reparations now? Are we not going to take it so seriously now? Are we going to let our guard down? Are we going to get weaker? What's going to happen? How are we going to react? Right? Yeah, people out there celebrating, dancing. Most of us are not doing that right now. But how are we going to react as a organized community? How are you going to react? If you're someone who's not politically active right now, are you going to get more politically active? Do you think, or if you're someone who is politically active, are you going to get less politically active? Right? How are you going to react? How are we going to react? That's, I think, going to be as important a question as anyone we ask and anyone that we answer today. Let's get back to some of these comments. I appreciate everybody who's commenting. Thank you so much. Keep the comments coming, fam. This is, once again, a pop-up show. We had to come to you. We had to get your feedback, right? We had to get the ADOS perspective, right? What's our perspective on what we just heard today? We're going to hear from the left, the progressives, the libertarians, the right, the conservatives, the ups, the downs, right? The lefts, right? The middles. But what about you, right? One thing that's important about this election cycle is the ADOS movement was born and it's here to stay, right? We have a permanent space now. We planted our flag down. So now they got to hear from us too. And we got to hear from us, right? Let's get back to some of these comments. I don't feel like this is a victory for ADOS. Now we look forward to the midterms, and in the meanwhile, advocate where we are for ADOS specific, policies. Absolutely. You touched on something that we touched on, a couple of very important points. One, is this not a victory for ADOS people? Is it, right? Is having someone like Trump, was Trump just another obstacle in the way of reparations? And is it good by itself to have someone who is anti-reparations, an anti-Black agenda out of the White House? Someone who's also openly, racist. Is it just good to have him out of the White House by itself? Most of us are saying no, but you raise another good point. What about the midterms? What does this mean for the midterm elections, 2022? Right now, we don't know who is going to be in charge of the Senate right now. It's 48 Republicans, 48 Democrats in the Senate right now. We don't know who's going to be in charge of the Senate. We do know that Mitch McConnell was reelected. Mitch McConnell did defeat Amy McGrath in the Kentucky Senate race. So we know Mitch McConnell is going to be back at work, Will he be the leader of the Senate or will he be the minority leader of the Senate? Right? We don't know. What does it matter? Does it matter that Mitch McConnell is the leader or the minority leader? Is it going to be harder for Biden to get anything done if Mitch McConnell is the Senate majority leader? Will it be just as hard for him to get stuff done if McConnell is the Senate minority leader? What about the House? Democrats lost seats in the House of Representatives this week. The Republicans gained more seats in the House of Representatives this week. Will the House of Representatives be in play in 2020? Right? What does that matter? Right? Great questions, great feedback, great comments. Let's get back to some of these comments. Let's get back to some of these great comments. Once again, fam, this is about you. This pop-up show from ADOSCA Media is about you. How are you reacting to what you've seen, so far over the last few hours? Once you learned that Donald Trump was, elected president, how is your family reacting? Right? Excuse me. How is your family reacting? Are your family members calling you and texting you? Yo, Biden won, da, 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 right? My family members know not to text me, about no Biden winning, right? But how's your family reacting? How are you going to handle this on Thanksgiving? All right. What's those conversations gonna be like for you, right? Get back to the comments. No more complaining about Democrats 24/7 online. We need to physically demand policy and run for office. Anybody gonna be running for office now that Trump is out of office and we got a new president and we may have a new Senate and we may have a different House. Are you going to get more politically active? This goes back to that same question, right? It's not just about what Biden and Harris do. It's about what you do, right? Are you going to run for office? Are you going to join an ADOS chapter? Are you going to get more politically active? Are you going to get more politically educated, right? On a regular basis, right? What are you going to do now that you know that Joe Biden is going to be the president of these United States? Let's get back to some of these amazing comments. Getting back to it. If ADOS is going to start running candidates, we have to start laying out that groundwork early. People have to find out who ADOS is. Absolutely. What's going to happen for the ADOS movement in the next days, weeks, and months? Are we going to grow? Are more people going to find out about ADOS? Right? Are more people going to learn about identifying with their lineage over their melanin? Right? Are more people gonna prioritize a Black agenda and reparations in the wake of a Joe Biden presidency? Or, as some of us have said here, are we going back to sleep? Does the awakening continue, or do we get sleepy? More comments, right? Don't care for me and my family. Excited for nothing. LOL. Yeah. How is your family handling this? Right? Is this how is your spouse or your significant other handling this? Is your house divided? Now, right? Very, very, very important questions to be asking right now, especially since the news is fresh. This is hot off of the press right now, and it looks like I might have some guests joining me in the studio here. I'm gonna let them get set up, but it looks like I might have a special guest joining me in a moment here, and I'm very, very excited. But once again, pop-up show, ADOSCA Media. Like the channel, subscribe to the channel, share this. We broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube right now. And let us know what your thoughts are. Once again, we are here to figure out and listen to you. What's your initial reaction to the Joe Biden win. And here with me to discuss the Joe Biden win is none
Mm-hmm.
other than Rita
Mm-hmm.
Fort, ADOS Bay Area. What's up,
Forte,
Rita?
you gotta put the
Forte,
Tay on there.
excuse
Forte.
me. Excuse me. I use the French pronunciation, so it's Fort. But excuse
True,
me.
true, true.
What's up, man? What's going on? How are you?
What's going on? Good, good. Just like you, I just got this message to pop in on this on Facebook. So what's going on, ADOS? What's going on, folks? But I don't know what you've been talking about, but I'm just taking it all in, just like everybody else. You know what I mean? Scrolling, checking out everything. But what you guys been saying and talking about so far?
We've been just getting reactions from the crowd. Really, this is just focused on the
Hmm.
family, so it wasn't nothing super formal. We
Right.
just said let's just go live and let's get reactions from the family
Yeah.
from the family and let the people drive the show.
Yeah.
And the people are driving the hell out of this show today, and I'm so proud. It's so good to see so many ADOS in here, out here,
Absolutely.
who have thoughts and ideas about what what their initial reaction is. Should Black people be out there celebrating? Was one of the
Mm.
questions.
Let's start. Can we start? Well, no, because can we
Let's do it.
start with that? What's interesting is that before I even pop back on, I was literally just watching some Netflix, trying to just chill out. But right there, I just was sorry. I wanted to stop you right there. Black people should be celebrating it and this, and that while I was just on my phone scrolling through Instagram. And what you're showing right now on the screen is exactly what I'm seeing, and I'm like, well,
Yep.
I'm looking for the Black people. I'm looking in these crowds where I personally haven't seen any in all of the posts that I've seen of people out there celebrating it,
Mm,
at least here in the Bay Area. I've looked at a few
mm.
news outlets, and all I see, is white folks. I'm just saying, I'm looking for the Black folks. So I do want to find, are there Black folks out there in the streets though? You know what I mean? And I'm seeing white folks out there in the streets. I'm seeing
Oh
other
wow!
races out there in the streets. I'm not seeing us out there. So and I'm not saying everybody is where we're at mentally about it, like we are here in the chat, I'm sure. But I think there's definitely a whole sector of Black folks that is okay, that at least kind of get it. Like they're probably happy, but they ain't in the streets. And I
Right,
think we should
right.
notice that and look at that. Like, look at what you're showing right now. Those aren't Black folks.
Yep,
High
yep. You're
fiving.
right.
They over here
Yeah.
feeling like they won the Super Bowl.
Fist
I'm
pumping.
just being real.
Really, you hit the nail on the head, and
Yeah,
there's so I'm not sure what city they're showing right now, but
yeah.
there was some shots earlier of at Atlanta. There was some shots of Philly. There was some Black people out there, fam. I
They
got I got to
were
break it to
okay.
you. Yeah, there was some Black
Okay.
people out there. Cuban shuffling and you know
Okay.
shoulder shrugging. And so and I don't want to put nobody on blast, but there was some Black people out there for sure. You know,
Okay. Okay. I haven't seen any. I
dancing.
want to see it. So I'm probably speaking too soon. I want to see it though.
But, but, but let me ask you. Also.
Yeah.
What. What. So maybe Black people shouldn't be out there celebrating. Maybe we don't expect Black people to be out there celebrating. But the question was, you know,
Mhm.
is having somebody like Trump who, in many ways is an open racist, and I say that policy wise,
Yeah.
there's can't count on two hands how many racist policies he was,
Mhm.
behind.
Mhm.
Also someone who was anti reparations,
Mhm.
anti black agenda.
Mhm.
Is it enough to have someone like him out of office? Is that celebration enough? Is that cause for celebration enough? Should we be, beating up on the people out there, doing the moonwalk, now,
They out there, right?
because
Cupid
you know,
Cupid couple, right?
you know,
um.
but Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
finish up.
is it enough? And is that cause for celebration enough?
Right. So I said this earlier. I did a show. I'm doing this show every Saturday morning on my YouTube channel. So make sure you guys tune into that, Rita Forte Live. But I said this earlier on my show, which is I think I said 2 weeks ago. It's like, you know, I just kind of feel like folks need to be hit over the head for people to wake up, right? And I think that's what this whole Trump presidency has done for a lot of people. Maybe not for some ADOS folks or whatever that really, have been experiencing and knowing what America is all about, right? Already, right? But I think the Trump presidency woke a lot of people that didn't know up, right? And so one of my things where when we were talking about, okay, what's the prediction, what's going to happen, all I knew or all what I feel is that I feel like it is bad where we are at right now. You know what I mean? The policies, like you said, the racist stuff, all of that is bad. But I honestly still believe, and we got to see, but I honestly had still felt like we need to get worse before we even get better. I just feel like we even still needed
Mm,
to get worse. That was just me. And I didn't really say that opinion out
mm.
loud until like really the last
That's
month.
very interesting.
But I've been thinking that for a while now. So I'll say that. Now, that
So
doesn't mean
you want us to have one more dose of Trump, one more
I didn't I
one more term of Trump might have done us some good in some ways because it would have made us even more active.
possibly, and not just us, but others, allies. It would have possibly woken them up. And I'm not saying we can't get that same type of dose with this new administration. I'm not saying that. So I didn't
Right,
say,
right.
just to make it clear, I was not a Trumper. I did down ballot like our ADOS folks did.
Same
You know,
here. Same
I
here.
didn't right. I didn't vote for either. So I think we could get a dose of that. But what I see happening is this giving a lot of relief to folks to where they're like, oh, whew, okay, like he's out of there.
That's dangerous. That's
And
dangerous, fam.
exactly.
That's dangerous.
So,
That's what got me today. I've been on
yeah,
it. That's
yeah,
what's been under my skin over the last couple of hours because I've been channel surfing and getting the NBC and the CBS and the MSNBC and the
right,
CNN and the Fox. The
right.
that's what you hit the nail on the head, fam. Once again, that is what's been got me uneasy today. It's this this letting the guard down, this
Yep,
relief.
yep,
Well, what are you so relieved about?
yes,
What has changed, right?
yes, yes.
I know
But
I'm with you, fam. I'm with you
But I
100%.
also said on my show this morning something else because before I got into what we're talking about and what I know all the ADOS folks and community completely understand, before I got into just talking about, you know, is this really change? Exactly what you said. I did say this, which is that I think on a morality and a spirituality level, on a value system level, and I also have to, I didn't get to put this in there when I said it. For what folks, the majority of folks know and really know, and about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's record and the impact that's had on maybe America or them or not on them, both of those things, right? Like, I think a lot of folks, you know, looked past a lot of those things that are on their records and just looked at morality and spirituality, or just morality and value system, and just was like, we need that at a foundational level. And I hear that. I hear that. We need a morality of conscious at a certain level. And I'm, like I said, I'm with that. So I want to
You,
I do want
you
to,
put your finger on that too.
yeah, I do want
I
to,
think you did. I think you did.
yeah, I do want
There
to
was a
hear
lot
that.
of value signaling
Yeah.
going on today, right? A lot of value signaling, a lot of
But,
you're absolutely right.
if folks really knew the truth of what policies that both Kamala and Joe Biden and how they have affected the Black community in the same way that maybe something has affected their community. If they can somehow make that truth understandable to them, then maybe they wouldn't have thought the same way, because I think it's a lack of understanding and effect that they feel like this is still a win. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there too, that I mentioned on my show as well too. Like,
No, that's an important point. That's an
yeah,
important point to make,
yeah,
and I mean, it goes to this. It goes to the question, and I'm gonna bring our good brother, you Moya into the stream as well. Welcome, fam.
hey,
Appreciate you. What's up, brother? Shout out to you, Moya. Shout out to Kim. Shout
yo,
out to Rita Forte.
there you go. Come on
Dr.
now.
CEO Thomas and the whole ADOSCA media family.
Yeah.
To this, you are absolutely right, Rita. on almost every one of the, let's say, mainstream, let's call them mainstream, media outlets, there was this value signaling, this more morality signaling, something like uh, morality is back in the White House, and
Mm-hmm.
values are back in the White House, and that just speaks to, I think, what some of these people think morality means, right? What does morality really mean, right? What does it
Right.
really mean to be
Right.
a more? I mean, can I, is it the kind of morality where I like smile in your face and
Come
talk to
on.
you in a
Come
soft
on.
tone,
Yep.
but then I have my hand in your pocket,
Come
and
on.
I'm pulling your wallet out, right,
That's right.
at the same time.
The truth.
Whereas Trump might have just walked up to you, punched you in the face and took your wallet out your pocket, right? Is it the
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden kind of morality where
Mm-hmm.
you're nice and you soft in the tone, and then when I walk away, my wallet is missing, you know,
Yep.
right? My wallet is
Exactly.
missing on both, um,
Exactly.
I mean,
I mean, does that
you
you're right?
great
Does
point,
that define morality? Like, which morality you want? You know what I mean? Which
right,
which one of those you want? So
right,
it's a toss up,
yeah,
because I do say, um I do say that I flip back and forth between what situation is really better, or worse, however you're looking at it. I've definitely done that, you know. So anyway.
So
Hey,
let
hey,
me get you Moya, please jump on in, fam. Um,
Mm,
Joe Biden wins, right? Should black people be out there celebrating?
mm.
What do you think?
well, first of all, I just want to say greetings to both you and Rita.
Really?
What's up, fam? And also to
What up? What
everybody
up?
in the chat. What's up, fam?
Yes,
Yeah, it
sir.
looked like a Joe Biden like festival out there.
Come
Like
on, come on, Warrior. Come on. I already said it, but come on. I want you to just back it all up. Tell what's
I
going
get
on.
I guess we on the same
Festival.
page, family. Like I was like, what they got like cotton candy out there, and
Bam.
so it was looking real crazy.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy because we all know that Kamala Harris, as far as I'm concerned, she hasn't. I mean, especially her being the senator out here in California, she has yet to acknowledge AB 3121. Especially
Mm,
Gavin Newsom.
mm.
Have y'all seen any acknowledgement yet of it from
I
her?
haven't seen it,
No.
but explain to the people who watching what AB 3121 is for those who don't know, fam.
Yes.
Okay. So basically AB 3121 is a current bill that's in legislation that Gavin Newsom signed in September 30th of this year. That's going to be the task force to study reparations specifically for ADOS, for Black Americans, American descendants of slavery. So that's
Mm-hmm,
pretty
mm-hmm.
much sums it up. And I'm really
Thank you.
disappointed with Kamala Harris, especially her being
Mm,
vice president of the United States,
mm.
not even acknowledging family. about AB 3121, and she's a representative of California. And if I'm correct, Chris, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure we got the numbers of how many Californians actually voted for Joe Biden.
What an excellent point. I hadn't thought about that. No support of AB 3121. Wow. Yeah. And her being a California senator. Wow. And close to Gavin. You brought all those points up. Like,
Very
it's just,
close.
yeah, like Gavin keeps posting pictures with them and stuff, and I'm just like, she knows about it. We know she knows about it. Man.
Yeah. Well, she definitely knows about it, and I have a question up on the screen here, because if we're talking about reparations, right? Let's ask the question: Is reparations easier? Is it going to be easier for us to get reparations? Under a Joe Biden and Kamala Harris presidency? Is it going to be harder? Is it going to be just as hard as before? Does this change anything? Right? Trump was anti-reparations. Kamala Harris, as we spoke about earlier, is on record. That famous interview with her where she says, "I'm not going to do anything specifically for Black people." No, right? That is her responding to the reparations question, right?
Yeah.
But she is on record supporting S1083. She's the co-sponsor of S1083, which is the Senate version of HR 40, the congressional bill to study and develop reparations proposals for African Americans Act. That is not a reparations bill. It's a bill to study and develop proposals for reparations, but it's not a reparations bill. So it's not the same thing to say I support the study, or I support HR 40, or I support S1083. That's not the same thing as saying I support reparations. Kamala Harris is not the president, though, right? Joe Biden is, and Joe Biden is, at least from his debate performances and his debate, answers when asked about reparations. One of his most recent answers was his idea of reparations was Jim Clyburn's 10-20-30.
Right. Right.
So we have a president who we have another president who's probably anti-reparations also. So the question for us here is, are we going to get reparations under a Joe Biden or Kamala Harris presidency? What do you both think?
Well, say your opinion first. What about you first? What's your thoughts? Go back to you.
Yeah, let me think about it, because my instinct is to say no, right? However, I don't think that if I had to put it on a sort of a scale, or give it a percentage chance, I would say the chances are less than half, so less than 50-50, less than fair, right? But that may change, and that could change, depending on the kind of work that we do over the next several weeks and months. So right now, I would say the chances are less than fair, less than 50-50, but that could change, and we could change those odds, I think, with the work that we are going to do as people who are a part of and involved in the ADOS movement. So that's my answer.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, let's just start out with the scenario, right? Let's just start out with the scenario. Say, for example, the Breonna Taylor, Kamala Harris was asked about the Breonna Taylor, outcome on her debate stage or whatever with Pence, right? And, I believe her answer, she didn't fully denounce and say the outcome was wrong. You know what I mean? And justice was not served. It wasn't blatantly like that. So I only say that to lay out for the next 4 years, because unfortunately, system is still in place. That was the system yesterday. So unfortunately, a Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, a George Floyd is probably going to happen again within the next 4 years, right? To make this national attention. So when we have seen both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's reactions to something like that, that will be forefront. You know what I mean? So whereas Trump said nothing, you know what I mean? Like he basically wouldn't say anything when stuff like that would happen, and then maybe come like a couple days later and say, you know, some crumb here or there, or you know, there's good people on both sides. You know what I mean? So like the rhetoric, I think.
Oh man.
Right. So all I'm saying is that the rhetoric that will be forefront will change, and so we'll have to see how people react to that now, because will folks stand up to now this kind of softer rhetoric when it comes to, you know, police reform and things like that, where it's just like, well, you know, we have to still work within the system, because I believe they both don't believe in dismantling or defunding the police, you know what I mean, and stuff like that.
Thank you for saying that. I'm so glad you brought that up, fam.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I want to no, hold your thought, because I was waiting on you to hit this point right here, because I sent a message to a couple of people over 2 weeks ago, you know, about why is it that I was seeing, when I was watching YouTube and the ads come on, I was seeing pro funding the police, pro funding public safety ads from Joe Biden. I couldn't believe it.
See?
And
See?
those of y'all in the chat who saw these ads on YouTube, please co-sign what I'm saying, back up what I'm saying. I'm not lying. It was at least 2 or 3 times where I had to pause the ad and say, "Yo, this is from Joe Biden." He's saying, "I'm," you know, the ad would start with the question, you know, what if you dialed 911 and no one was there to respond? Right? Joe Biden believes in funding our law enforcement, funding, you know, and I was like, wait a minute. That's the opposite of what. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, fam, but I just had to right there, because
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
But I can believe it, because bottom line is there's a lot of folks that settled into the idea that Joe Biden was the opposite of Trump, and that's just not true. So, you know, when you ask when you ask this question, you know, will it be easier to get our reparations? Will we get our reparations? And will we get our Black agenda during this time? I don't know. We have to think about, okay, are they going to do this Lift Every Voice plan? You know, is that going to, are people going to, the folks that were, how can I put it? The folks that were happy with that plan, are they going to be there to like, you know, forcefully, like really have Joe Biden stand behind that plan?
Right.
I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
When things happen and they speak on injustices, will people stand up and say, no, that's not good enough either? Or are they going to just placate and feel a sigh of relief and just, you know, are those allies that came out, you know, of all races for George Floyd, are they going to go back to sleep? Or are they going to be allies still and get behind what really needs to happen and move forward, including a Black agenda and reparations? So, you know, if I were to answer questions just straight out, like I'm undecided. You
I'm
have
with you.
You have to see. I don't think reparations in general is not happening in 4 years. Are we going to get closer? Yes. But my prediction, you know, stuff takes time. I just think that the fight is going to take a little bit longer. So that's what I'll say to that.
Well, let's follow up on that point. Excuse me, and let's pull that thread, as they say, right? Because this was a question that we had earlier on. And once again, fam, you are live tuned into the ADOSCA Media pop-up show, getting your live reaction to the Joe Biden presidency announcement, Joe Biden is the projected winner of the 2020 presidential race officially. He will officially become the 46th president of these United States, along with Kamala Harris, first Black woman to be elected vice president of the United States, first woman, I believe, vice president ever, also, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And when we haven't touched on that yet, but we definitely going to get to it.
Right.
But let's follow up on I think a very important point that you've been making, Rita. What is our responsibility? Us, ADOS people, Black people, even non-Black people. What's our responsibility? Over these next several years, and what is it that we have to be doing? There was a lot of criticism of Black folks when Obama was elected. A lot of the criticism was we just let him do what we didn't bring him no agenda. We just let him do what he wanted to do.
We sure did. We was happy. We was in La La Land.
Right. And so what is and this is for the audience too, right? This is for us in the audience and fam in the chats as well. What is our obligation? What's our responsibility to make real the things that we want to see happen, right? What do we and these were questions coming up earlier. Are you going to run for office? And maybe not you specifically, but you listening to this, you watching this on Facebook and on YouTube, by the way, please like, share, subscribe, to the ADOSCA Media. Also, check out Rita Forte's show as well. Like, share, and subscribe to that as well. Are you going to run for office? Are you going to join the ADOS chapter? Are you going to get more politically involved? Are you going to commit to consuming political information on a regular basis and not when something crazy happens? Right? Are you committed to doing your political homework? Right? Are you committed to talking to your spouse and significant others and children and aunts and uncles and cousins? We got a big holiday season coming up, right? Are you gonna be as active as you were when Donald Trump was walking around? And when we were told that we had to be scared of the Donald Trump, person, right? Or are you going to be relieved now, right? Are you going to be, less active now? What is our responsibility? What do you think about, what our responsibility is as individuals and then also as a people?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take over. Umoya, you want to hop in, or I can hop in? Umoya, go ahead.
I just want to make a real quick point, Rita.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to make a real quick point. All right, cool. Now, I think we have to remember that the Democratic Party, as far as I'm concerned, came up to Ice Cube, approached Ice Cube, and I think somebody said in the Miss Callie, peace out to Miss Callie, said agenda to the Democrats, they said wait. So I just want to elaborate on that particular comment from Miss Callie, that they approached Ice Cube and told the brother to wait until after the elections. Well, family, no more time to wait. Me personally,
true.
I'm giving them one dang year, and I'm trying not to curse. I'm trying to go into spiritual Umoya and not curse.
Right.
That we need to give them 1 year max. Period, to decide what they're going to do, at least for the task force, especially with HR 40 or whatever is going to come out of HR 40. Give them 1 year, period. Just say, here you go. I mean, we got to be full on board, full force with this, because there's just no excuse right now. So I just wanted to just say that little point, but I'm sorry, Rita. Go ahead, sis.
No, that was good. I'm with that. I think that's a good point. Yeah, Ice Cube needs to be answered to. Now you guys said wait. Now I'll add on to that point about Ice Cube is that there was so much hubbub around that I don't know. They got in there. So like we'll see. Are they going to give him the time of day? They got what they wanted. It wasn't an Yvette Carnell. You know what I mean? ADOS. You gotta get them to commit before they get in there, right? So, yet,
right,
once again, yet to be seen. But yeah, things that we need to be doing right now as ADOS, as even folks who are just Black, they may not be involved in the ADOS movement and stuff like that, but folks got to get politically involved. Like I was in another Zoom today. It was like a post-election conversation, and this was like for a university. I won't say what university it was, but so this is higher education Black alumni. And they were saying that, like, I didn't even really think about, politics till I was like 34, 35, years old. Like that is too late, entirely too late. One of my white friends, I was talking to her about, when did she get into politics? She was like, oh, well, it's always been a discussion around my table since I was 8, 9 years old. Like, yeah. So for those who have had that experience, great. You know what I mean? But I know I didn't have that experience myself as a Black person. You know what I mean? But I am very grateful of course, ADOS now, but of BWAPA, Black Women Organized for Political Action. Shout out. And me
shout
coming
out to
BWAPA, me becoming across that organization 8 years ago, back in 2012, because that started my political activism. That started me, like just looking at things differently. But bottom line, however you get active, you have to start become part of an organization. Yes, become part of NAACP. I'm just talking to the wider range of Black folks here. Like, yes, become a part of something. You have to, and not just like, oh, I'm just going to hop in the chat here and there. No, become a member. Like, get the emails. Just start getting a part of the process. So that's one thing. Right. And then something personal that I'm doing for me, and this is just something that I've like tried to do like all year long, and actually for the last 2 years, but I just have put, my work and all of our organizing ahead of that. But I've ordered so many books on Amazon, not only Breaking Brown, book club books, but just other books, like whether it's just leadership books or whether it's just learning about politics or whether it's just learning about money and of course reparations and things like that. But bottom line is we got to be reading, and so that's one of my goals, is to like, I would really like to get to the straight up point where I'm in a book every day. I want to get that like I just want to get that solid to where I'm straight up educating myself. I'm straight up back in political education
as a habit.
Yeah, as a habit for the next 4 years, And I definitely think those two things, get involved. I don't care how. Just do it. And of course, get involved with ADOS, right? But number 2, educate yourself, read, educate yourself, read. So those are my two
I think
that's goals,
brilliant.
You know what I mean? For ADOS for the next for the rest of the lifetime.
I think that's brilliant. No, I was gonna one I want to show you some love for that. I mean, that's exactly those are two very clear, very actionable calls to action that anyone and everyone who's watching this can do. If you're looking for next steps, if you're looking for marching orders, right? So we're gonna spend some time, now, and this is why we're here today to talk about, what your initial, emotional political reaction is, right? It's always good to, share those, right? But Rita, you are spot on. What can you do? What can we do going forward? What is our obligation at a bare minimum going forward?
Bare minimum. Yeah, those are the bare minimums.
At a bare minimum.
Yeah.
Bare minimum. Get involved. Find a local political group. Get involved. Obviously, we want you to find a local ADOS political group. So if you in the Bay Area, connect with ADOS Bay Area at gmail.com. We here in Sacramento, ADOS Sacramento at gmail.com. If you want to connect to any one of the other California groups, email ADOSCA Media Group at gmail.com.
Yeah.
ADOSCA Media Group at gmail.com. Get involved in some sort of local political organizer group. It doesn't have to be the ADOS groups, but we prefer it, that you do it because we advocate specifically for our specific people. But get involved. That's the first thing you can do. And then secondly, I'm so glad you said this, Rita. Make political education a habit. Make personal political education a habit, a weekly, a daily habit. I don't care if it's you personally commit to just some sort of political news consumption every day, right? Or you commit to some sort of reading material every day. It doesn't have to be a whole book, right? But maybe it's some sort of research, some sort of online magazine. If you can do the book, go for it. Join a book club. Join the Brick and Brown book club. We are all part of the Brick and Brown book club ourselves right now. Shout out to Yvette Cardinell. Mondays and Wednesdays at Brick and Brown on YouTube, 7 p.m. Pacific time. I think the book we're reading now is The Have Has Never Been Told, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
Join a book club. I use Audible. Don't be afraid and ashamed to say that you use Audible. All right. I'm someone who doesn't have as much time to read, sit down and read. So I have to get read to me. That's fine. As long as you're getting that information in, make personal political education a habit in your life, and also make it a habit among the people in your household. Those are two solid calls to action that you can take away from this broadcast. If you don't take nothing else away, is those two things. Thank you so much for that, Rita. We got a bunch of great comments coming in. I want to highlight some of them. Yes, sir.
Chris, real quick. I don't know if you can put up my camera, if you guys can see.
Your camera is up, and we can see.
Right.
Yep. Inherently unequal.
I don't know. I don't know. I think you guys. I think a comment is
it's blocking it. Yeah, take down. There's a comment on there.
Take down that comment, brother, or put my screen up.
There we go.
Okay. So this is one book that I definitely recommend everybody check out. Inherently Unequal: The Betrayal of the Equal Rights by the Supreme Court.
How are you gonna make me get another book, Umoya? You fired, man. For real? Damn.
Yeah. By Lawrence Goldstone.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, I'll just read the back of it. It says, "Praise for Inherently Unequal." Looks like it says, one of the saddest episodes in American history has been inadequately explored and poorly understood until now. Lawrence Goldstein's brilliantly written book, Inherently Unequal, traces the post-Reconstruction Supreme Court's slow strangulation of equal rights for African Americans. It will be a shock to many that the judicial branch, viewed in the modern context as the premier defender of civil rights, was primarily responsible for the nation's descent into a deep racist inequality that ruined the lives of millions for a century. As Goldstein shows us, Lincoln's great legacy was cynically dismantled by the office holders best positioned to protect it. And that looked like it was a review from Larry J. Sapato, who's the director of the Center for Politics, University of Virginia, and author of A More Perfect Constitution. So this is one of the many books, that I recommend. And I'm still learning too, family. I'm still learning too. So that's just my little recommendation, fam.
Can you throw that in that book in the chat?
Yeah, most def.
Yeah, put the title of that in the chat. And that's just one of many, ways and opportunities for you to get politically educated on a habitual basis. Okay, you want to be habitual political educators. Okay, all right. For yourself. I mean, that's one thing that we can do as a community, is to make political education a habit going forward. I want to bring up some more of the comments. Miss Kylie says, I want to join a local 80 West org. I'm torn between Sacramento and Bay areas since I'm in the middle. Modesto, listen, you can't go wrong with either one. Okay, you can't go wrong with either one. We would love to have you up here in the Sacramento area. I'm sure the Bay Area team would love to have you too. All right, and if you want to, fight over you, have a duel over you. All right, that's fine. All right, but you won't be. You will be fully satisfied with either one of the groups. So please, get down, and at the bare minimum, get on our email list. That's open to anyone really. You don't have to be in a specific area to be on our email list. What's good, Nick? What's going on, fam? Appreciate you as always. Moni, shout out to Monica. Also participating in a part of the 80 West California family. There's also an Inland Empire chapter for those in San Bernardino, Rancho, High Desert, Redlands, Victorville, etc., etc. If you're in the Inland Empire area, connect with the Inland Empire chapter of 80 West California. Definitely check out the Inland Empire family. Also, obviously, check out the 80 West LA, 80 West SoCal, 80 West San Diego family as well. Appreciate you wherever you are here in California. Make sure you connect with a local political organization and get politically active. From now on, right? And this is all circling around the question of what is our obligation now that we know that Joe Biden is going to be the 46th president of the United States. More comments coming in. Once again, family, this is about you. It's about your initial reactions. Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comment. We're going to lift up almost every single comment we find. Every single comment we find, we will lift up. So please, let your voice be heard. I'm glad Drumpf is gone. Now time to press Sleepy Joe and the Dems. Absolutely. Let's put one. Let's say it. Let's be honest. And let's keep it real. Donald Trump has not conceded the election yet. All right. So Don and there was a comment about, earlier that we did highlight, and when we try to be equal on all sides here, there was a comment about voter fraud, about voter suppression, and about allegations of the election not being fair. Donald Trump is pushing that line right now that the election is not fair, that there's something called illegal voting going on. So, and like I said, he has not conceded the elections. There will be recounts in at least 2 states, if I'm not mistaken. I think just by law, there are lawsuits flying left and right in multiple states right now, coming from the Trump campaign on the ground. So while we are announcing that Joe Biden is projected to win the presidency, you can be sure that this will be challenged by Donald Trump, and that this is being challenged by Donald Trump. Rita Umoya, do you think Donald Trump will go down quietly?
No.
Right. Absolutely not. Come on, we know that.
And do you think there's anything to the is there anything to this? The voting wasn't fair. The voting wasn't legal. Does he? I mean, I haven't seen any evidence for it. I know there's a so we said this in the beginning of the show too. This is the highest turnout for any presidential race in over 100 years in terms of, I think, percentage of the population in over 100 years. And add to that both Donald Trump and Joe Biden had historic turnouts for themselves or for their parties individually. So this is the most anyone has ever come out for any Democratic presidential candidate ever. 75 million people. This is the most anybody has come out for any Republican presidential candidate ever. 70 million people, 71 million people, right? So, that's something that has to be uplifted also. This is a, 70 plus million people said, I want Donald Trump back. Okay. That's more people that came out for Donald Trump this time than last time. Okay. We haven't really digested that yet. And now we have Donald Trump saying, "I'm not conceding the election. There's illegal voting going on."
Right.
Yeah.
And if because I had to while you're talking about conceding, and this is something I actually been thinking about, so I'm finally looking it up as you're bringing it up. I just looked up concede on Wikipedia. You know, your Google's is your best friend, y'all. First of all, because I was just like, okay, conceding. You know, everybody's really talking about, oh, he hasn't conceded and this and that. Let's first of all know that it's, you know, here it says in politics, a concession is the act of a losing candidate, right? Publicly yielding to a winning candidate, right? The history, first of all, the first concession by telegram, by the way, the first concession that ever happened was actually in the 1896 presidential election. So if we really think about that, it's only conceding is only really a century and something old. It wasn't always that you had to concede. So let's, because I'm using this to answer the question: will Trump concede? And of course, I've already said no. Or will he leave quietly? No. But it says, you know, concession is entirely optional. So you mean to tell me you're going to give Trump the option to concede? Do you guys think that he actually might? Fam.
Oh, like, man.
It said, you know what I mean? It says it is not necessary for the losing candidate to concede for the winning candidate to be seated. And the losing candidate is not obliged to concede once defeat has been conclusively demonstrated. So you're telling me with that option right there, knowing that right there, like let me just say it, and then I'm gonna give another example of this. Is like, how can you really expect a man like Donald Trump to concede or just to leave quietly with an option of not having to do so? Like, I really hope and I wish that we learned who this man was in the last 4 years, but we'll see, right? I always say still yet to be seen. So that's one thing. And then, like, just this week, God bless him, love him, Stephen Colbert, you know, he came online after Trump gave a speech about, what did he say? Trump gave a speech about saying that he had won and like we need to be only counting the legal votes and something like that.
Yeah, he declared himself the winner.
Yeah,
at like 2 a.m.
Just straight up lying. Like, but I'm just like, okay, yeah. I mean, this is Trump. I mean, this is horrible. I don't want to see. It's hard to toe the line between glossing over it and like, you know, it is a serious thing. But like,
well, yeah. Is it? I mean, let me ask you. Let me pin you down on that. Is it? You know, does that? I mean, we are you know, making fun of it. But does that do damage? And does this do damage to the, you know, the idea that our elections are free and fair? You know, is it a big deal when the sitting president says, you know, there's a illegal voting going on, stop the vote counting right now, and I won?
Right. Well, what I'll say is probably it does some damage. Yes. Right. And so when Stephen Colbert went on and he was just real emotional about it, and he's like, never in our democracy, you know what I mean? He was just really distraught about it. And I just kind of thought we were past like just being distraught and emotional about Donald Trump. I just thought we were past that. But he just did this like this week. So I was just like, really? But so to answer the question is like, yes, I feel like it does damage. Absolutely. You know what I mean? But I'll also say, and just add on this point, which is kind of almost a tangent, but like this whole week, you know, people were like, oh, I wish this would really be over. You know, it took, you know, 4 days for us to get 5 days, whatever, for us to get the answer and to find out that, you know, Joe Biden won. But with Trump going on and saying that, you know, he's going to contest it, with all of the things that happened in these 4 and 5 days, even for me, it was still educational for the American public to see to see the lengths, to see how drawn out American democracy and elections can get, to see how far things can be stretched. I just think the silver lining in learning about these things, there's still something there with that. And that's all I'll say.
No, you hit the nail on the head once again. This was to see the votes being counted.
Yeah,
right? To see votes being counted, right? And we're still counting votes, like right now. Again, we have a projection, and this is a media projection, by the way. Okay, and one thing that we want to be sure to say is that this is not an official declaration, but these are media projections based on what the media experts say about Donald Trump's chances of changing the direction of the voting. But the voting is still, the counting of the votes, but the counting of the votes is still going on. And like I said, in at least 2 states, I believe, Georgia and possibly North Carolina, or possibly Pennsylvania, and possibly one of the other states, there's going to be recounts. That in some states, if the difference in votes is smaller than a certain percentage, by law there has to be a recount. And so there are going to be recounts in at least 2 of the states that are still counting. Generally, recounts on average don't change the results of an election. That's just what we know historically. That's not to say anything about what's going on, in this election, but we are still counting votes right now. And so it has been a very educational experience, right, I think, for the American public writ large. I've had people who were sort of like, half political, or like, 1/4 political, just sort of like, kind of keep it like at arm's length, right? But they're like they're tuned in. They're like, what's going on? They're asking questions. They're hey, has Trump won yet? Has Biden won yet? What's going on? This has been a super educational experience, and as we can see we're looking at some of the screen share right now. I mean, there is partying going on in the streets. There's there's flag waving going on. People
Chris,
are excited.
Yeah, somebody from your Howard University, your alumni, bruh.
You gonna throw Howard at me like that, man? I left early, son. I left early though, son. I just say. You gonna throw Howard at me like that? Oh man. Well, I see. So let's get to something that we definitely don't want to not talk about. Now that you bring up Howard.
Hey Chris, I'm gonna let you go, fam, because I gotta bounce out of here. But we gotta definitely have. Well, we definitely gotta have that community call. Hopefully, we usually have it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Actually, and hopefully, Rita, you can come through, give us your wisdom, and we can set something formal.
Tuesday,
to present to the people.
Yeah, look out for y'all post-election chat panel and all that Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. Right, thank you, brother. Shout out to you, Moya. Shout out to Kim. Shout out to CO. Shout out to the whole ADOS CA media team. Shout out to Rita Forte as well. I appreciate you for jumping on again. This is a pop-up ADOS CA media show talking about Joe Biden being a projected winner of the 2020 election. Joe Biden is the projected 46th president of the United States, defeating Donald Trump. Joe Biden is president-elect. He comes with him, vice president-elect, and Moya just brought up Howard University. Howard University alumni, Kamala Harris, first Black woman to be elected vice president in the history of these United States, first woman vice president in the history of these United States. Rita, I want to get some initial reactions from you and also from the family in the chat too. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I've been trying to like check myself. I've literally tried to check myself this whole time, because when Kamala Harris became the VP, nominee with Joe Biden, I finally, after all of my political education and being a part of ADOS and all of that, I finally stated my opinion publicly about everything. And I literally posted that clip of Kamala Harris saying, like, you think I'm not going to do anything for just for Black people. No, like I posted that clip literally the day that she was picked as VP. She was picked. Listen at me. She was picked as VP nominee with Joe Biden. Picked it. Hey, we ADOS over here. We picked it.
We going back to the roots here.
But I posted that clip. It was definitely the most popular post on my Instagram all year. I mean, people got in the comments was like, "What? Rita? Miss Bawapa, Black Women Organized for Political Action. You're from Oakland," because I have a lot of people that follow me from outside of the Bay and stuff like that. Like,
that's right. That's your hometown.
She's from Oakland, though, and all of that. And let me also preface this by just saying that, like, that when Kamala Harris announced that she was running for president, I was still not educated enough in the ADOS space and was happy about it. So let me put that out there and let me admit it. Let me just say that I was like, wow, Black, woman, Oakland, all of those things really were at the top of my list of like, wow, identity politics. So I just when I say I want to check myself, it's not only to know how far I've came as my political education, but to also not forget those milestones and to not dismiss them because, they are notable. And I think that I know that I don't completely dismiss them. I don't want to completely dismiss them. I don't want to ever come off in that way. Because those are notable milestones. But, and it's a big but, you know what I mean? It's a huge but. We need to move beyond that. It's just like Black Lives Matter. Yes. We've been saying that for how long? Now let's say reparations now. Now let's move past that. You know what I mean? Let's go beyond identity politics. Right. Let's ask for something. Let's go with solutions. Let's make solutions. And for lack of a better word right now, tangibles. Let's make those. You know what I mean? I know that's a sticky term around here.
Tangibles, measurables, quantifiables.
Let's make solutions and things resources that for the Black community. Let's make that the rallying cry. You know what I mean? Yes, Black Lives Matter, but how about let's draw on the ground in yellow, Black-owned businesses always funded. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Let's really talk about what is really needed here, and let's make those, I'm a marketing person. So let's make those, phrases that really translate what reparations really means to us. Over the next 4 years, let's make those popular. Let's trend those. Let's make those as hashtags. Okay, now I'm giving y'all too much. Anyway, I'm getting but I don't want to. I do not want to dismiss those milestones that Kamala has made history in. But I find it really funny that, like I said, I've been a part of BWAPA, Black Women Organized for Political Action. So I just have to keep saying it so you guys know.
Shout out to BWAPA.
Exactly what it means. And Kamala Harris, she came through BWAPA. She was, I think, definitely she was a member of BWAPA. And I know that that BWAPA really supported her for her DA run in San Francisco. So I never met her in person, but I definitely saw a lot of fundraisers for her, for BWAPA and all of that. So it is such a crazy juxtaposition to know where I'm at mentally with things versus how I've been politically involved in that space for the past 8 years. But I'm not scared. Yeah. This is where I'm at. And I'm very grounded in the ADOS movement and what we're here for. And but I don't dismiss, because dismissing those historic points, of Black woman in Oakland, that's almost like dismissing who I am as a person. So like,
Right.
I'll never do that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I just that's just real. That's just real talk.
Yeah.
But we have to move past those things. We have to grow politically. We do.
No, no, I no. Well, one, I appreciate you for speaking that, and you're uniquely qualified to speak that. I think as a Black woman, in Oakland, from Oakland, right?
Mm,
I think you're uniquely qualified to speak about that, and I don't think it is like I don't think you like it doesn't like just because you acknowledge and you like and respect the fact that this is a historic achievement for a Black woman, even though she's not ADOS, and
right.
let's say that specifically also she doesn't come from our lineage, right? But I
Correct.
think you can appreciate to have a, a Black woman as VP, and also still, recognize that, one, she's not ADOS, and two, she has her own troubled history with respect to, how she's treated, Black folks and ADOS folks in her public life, right? So I don't think, those two things don't have to go against each other,
Right.
especially talking about, what kind of example, it could set for
Yeah.
aspiring,
Yes.
young Black women. I don't think you can have both of those ideas in your head at the same time. Yes, it's
Right.
a historic thing. Yes, it's something that we should pause and take appreciation of, and then also recognize that this is someone who has a very troubled, very sort of checkered past with respect to how she's treated Black folks, how she's governed over Black
Yes.
folks as Attorney General,
Yes.
as District Attorney here in the state of California, where we both are. We are living with and know the results of her policies. Very, 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 very well. We live with them every single day.
Yeah.
So I don't want to. You can't take away from that, and then also the fact that when and where are we going to see the first ADOS woman who
Hmm.
is vice president, right? When are
Yeah.
we going to see the first ADOS, president, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Man
brings
or
back
woman.
right, man or woman, right? We have not had a president or vice president who descends from the institution of chattel slavery in this country. We have not had one yet. We've had a Black man president and a Black woman vice president now, but we haven't had an ADOS president or ADOS vice president now. So I did want to at least spend a few minutes talking about that. Fam, in the chat. Once again, we are here for a pop-up show. Like, follow, share, subscribe to ADOSCA Media. We are live on Facebook and YouTube right now. Also, check out Rita Forte's show as well. Make sure you check her out as well. She has her own channel. Rita is an amazing resource and amazing advocate and asset to this ADOS movement. She's repping the ADOS Bay Area family. I'm here in Sacramento, California, representing the ADOS Greater Sacramento family as well. Together, we both represent the ADOS California family as well. And people are shaking it like ain't no
I know. Are you?
tomorrow
I'm
in
just
that.
watching them,
I'm
bro.
watching people shake it
They
like
are
it ain't no
bouncing.
tomorrow.
They're straight up bouncing in the streets,
Yeah,
family.
people are dancing their ass off in the streets.
What
And
did Moya
that
say?
don't look like Black people, but
Hey, I
uh,
I told you it wasn't no black people out there. What did Umoya said the Biden festival?
yeah, this is a festival.
This is Bidencella, Bidecella.
Yeah,
This is what
Bicella
is
or
this?
Camcella,
Man,
man, yeah, this is no, so last maybe I think we should probably wrap
yeah,
it up, to be honest with you.
yep,
We've been
yep.
here a good hour and 45 minutes.
Yep.
Family, if in the chat, if you have any last things you want to get off your chest, this was about you. This was about getting your initial reactions. Hope we've given you some value and help you kill some time. Over the this is going to be a day full of reactions coming from every which way. So hopefully this helped you. Continue to leave your comments in the chat. The conversation does not have to stop when we stop broadcasting. All right. So, you are right now talking to your ADOS community. Continue that conversation on YouTube in the comment section. Please continue to talk. Also continue to talk on Facebook, as well. Again, like, share, and subscribe. This was about you. This is for you and by you. Rita, do you have any last words, last thoughts that you want to leave for the people?
Yeah, I just wanted to, can you bring up ADOS Will's last comment there? It doesn't benefit them black. I just want to pop that back in there. It doesn't benefit them black women, does it? If it matters, it only matters for symbolism, and ADOS needs policies, right or wrong. Completely 100% right. I completely and I was gonna continue in saying this, so I'm glad you said that, ADOS Will. Is that's completely right. There is a benefit when it's symbolism. There is a benefit. I just, see people have to see it to believe it. That's the age-old tale. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm not saying that's a great thing for us right now. But visuals is important, right? And so that, I think, how we can look at that is kind of what I said earlier, which is, we are very infant style as a community, as a black community, as an ADOS community when it comes to politics. We are very in our infant stages. We need to grow a lot in the political space for so many reasons that, this show could be for another hour. But that's where we're at right now. We're at symbolism right now. We're at look. We're at how does it look though? You know what I mean? And there's so many things that we could think about of why and why that is. But like that's where we're at right now. And it's up to folks like us in this chat. It's up to ADOS. It's up to us to organize to just really start to change and educate the rest of folks that we need them policies. We need the real deal. We have to grow up. And I almost think that not only us organizing and getting our structure together, and ADOS will help do that, but I think it's just inevitable. I think only time will tell. You can only have the curtain for so long. People want to see what's behind the curtain always. You know what I mean? What's really behind the curtain? And I think that even might happen in the next 4 years. Like what really are we getting for this? I do think that's just might naturally happen. So those are my thoughts. I don't know where Chris went. Chris, you want to wait for a second? Oh, there you go.
I'm here. I'm here, and, I co-sign everything you said.
My last words. Let's just keep working.
Like I'm looking at these comments coming in. I'm looking at the live stream.
Yeah.
Also at the same time, people are partying. and celebrating. And it's a sight to see. This is definitely a historic day, family. So, if I did have any last words, first thing I would say is an honor and privilege and a pleasure to be spending, this historic day with everyone that's here. This is, and I'm proud to see that, just in a year and a half, 2 years, ADOS as a movement has grown to a place where we can start to claim our own media space, right? Mm-hmm. Even though we're in the very beginning, right? But we don't really have our own media space outside of what we've created so far. So it's shows like this, it's networks like this, it's networks like yours, it's shows like yours. It's the politics and blacks of the world. Yep. It's the Be the Powers of the World.
Yep.
It's the amazing. It's obviously the Breaking Browns and the Tone Talks of the world, which really inspired all of this, right?
Mhm.
So I'm and what we're doing here. I don't know if we understand how important it's going to be to our politics going forward if we don't have a media that's developed enough. We're not going to be as successful in our political work, and and so I'm glad to see that we had, for example, we had a special election night coverage show on November 3rd. We're doing a follow up election night coverage, right, or follow up election coverage today. We're gonna
Mhm.
do something on Tuesday as well. Let's have we're gonna have a panel on Tuesday, as well. So this is showing that we are growing and that we're more consistent and that we're only developing more. And this is a good sign. This is a very good sign, family. That we are able to put something like this together. Even if this, like we said, this was a pop up show,
Right.
and we wanted to come, together just to give us and as you can see, some more of these shots coming in from other parts of the country. As the party grows,
Are those
I
black
think
people?
that
I'm
it looks
looking
like
for the black people.
we are looking for the black people out there. We are looking for your black people. If you're out there, we're gonna put you on the spot. But but this is definitely a historic day. So, like I said, I am proud to be able to to spend it with each and every single one of you, and that's what I would say for
Absolutely.
my last words. Other than to say, think about what Rita said earlier about what our obligations are as a people now that Joe Biden is probably going to win, right? Get
Mhm.
involved, find your ADOS chapters, right? ADOS Bay Area at gmail.com, ADOS Sacramento at gmail.com. If you're looking for any other ADOS chapters, email ADOSCA Media Group at gmail.com, and we'll be happy to connect you with ADOSCA Media at gmail.com. We will be happy to connect you to any ADOS group or chapter locally. But get involved. Find some political group. Get involved. Don't go to sleep. Okay, and make political education a habit in your everyday life. I think those are two critical takeaways, and I'm glad you brought them to us, Rita. As we take one final look at these shots from around the
As
country,
we
people are. I mean,
listen
I'm
at you,
fascinated with people dancing.
you
I'm
said as
fascinated.
we take one final look at these shots.
Let's take
and
one final look at these people
and
dancing in the
real
streets.
talk. Thank you for that last comment that's up there on the screen right now from Nuke. That's real talk. Like
Yep.
we all need a moment of relief. That's real. That's very real.
True, true, and we can trust. This has been a historic year, even outside of these elections, right? This is one year that is in the history books. Those of us who
Completely.
are living through it, will be talking to our kids and grandkids and family members about it. And this is something that we have all experienced together. And so, yeah, I think we all kind of do need you know, a relief. And some people are taking it in the, Trump win. Some of us are gonna, take it in other ways. But
Right.
no, that's definitely the right comment to make. I appreciate it. Like I said, fam, we will be back on Tuesday. We will have a more in-depth look at what's going on with the 2020 election. We'll have Rita Forte as well back with us,
Hey.
and then we'll also do the community call-in as well on Tuesday. So you can call in and give us your thoughts and your ideas about what's going on post 2020 election, right? Wow, thank you, fam. I appreciate every single one of you.
Thank you.
And with that,
You'll pop up.
we are out of here. We are
Peace.
popping out.